Hey World Hoppers, welcome to Cosmere Horizons, your one-stop shop for everything Cosmere. And today we got a big episode, and by big I mean quite literally big because this book is massive. This is not okay. Brandon Sanderson, how do you write this much? This is one of 10 books. What? But if we have my non-spoiler review for Wind and Truth. And I'm excited. This is not going to be anything too spoilery, just my general impressions and how it impacted me. It's going to be a rather short video. So online, I've seen a lot of discussion about this book, the good and the bad, and I'm just going to give you my general thoughts without going into too specifics to spoil the book. With that said, let me get started with what I loved most about this book, and it was where our characters ended up. Kaladin, Shallan, Adolin, Dalinar, Szeth, all these characters that we've grown to love over the past 5 books ended where I feel like they should end. And that was by far the most satisfying part. I feel like Brandon knew where he was going to have them end because, like, from the get-go, because it was just so perfect. There is not a single character that I was unpleased with where they ended within their 5-book arc. That was definitely the biggest highlight of this book. I also really liked some of the specific arcs that our characters went on. I really liked Szeth. Szeth was with the flashbacks. So book 5 is Szeth's flashbacks, and his flashbacks might be my favorite. That or Dalinar, I don't know. It's close, but I really liked his flashbacks for this. And how it ties in with his current day arc is wonderful. And then on top of that, the best arc by far was Adolin Kholin. God, I love that man. He has some amazing moments in this book, and it's great. On top of that, another thing, and I see a lot of people debating this online, and not all feel the same way, but I don't think there was a single boring plotline. There was one that was like mid-tier, but there was none that was boring. In some of the other books, like the beginning of Oathbringer or some of Way of Kings is really slow for me. A lot of Rhythm of War is really slow for me, and I don't think there was a single plotline that I got to and I was like, oh, it's time to read this plotline. So I really liked how each shift in plotline was really interesting to me. Last thing I wanted to touch on, and I see people debating this online, so this might only be me. I thought the pacing for this 1,300 some page epic was great. I was rarely bored. It was really easy, really quick read. I went on a vacation for about a week, and so I only really had a week to read it, and I finished it in that week because it was just so wonderful. On that vacation, the flight attendant came up to me. She's like, "Is that Wind and Truth?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And she's like, "Don't tell me," because she saw I was on like the last like 10 pages. And I finished it on that plane, and it was great. Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. And finally, another thing I want to talk about is this book is full of epic moments. I will think back on some of the moments in this book and be like, wow, that was so cool. Also, this book made me cry. No book has ever made me cry to something that wasn't a character death. And I cried to something in this book that wasn't a character death. And that blew my mind. It was such a good scene. And I absolutely adored it. Now, you're going to see a little bit of controversy and negativity around this book online, and that doesn't surprise me due to a couple of things. There's one character whose arc I liked, but I can totally see a bunch of people not liking this character's arc for this specific book. Again, where the character ended up, amazing, like I said earlier, but the specific arc they go on through this book, it's all right. I'm going to be honest, it wasn't a highlight for me. Another thing is characters really explain how they feel, and usually about how they're sad. And it seems really intense in this book. They are explaining how they're feeling and why they're feeling this way quite a lot. And it sometimes feels like Brandon's like spoon feeding and be like, hey, this is how this character is feeling. And that's going to happen a lot. A lot of inner monologues. But it didn't hurt my experience too much, and I think it really worked with some characters. And some other characters, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. I know they're feeling that way. It makes sense they're feeling that way because that happened. Like, I get it. That's all really I'm going to get into. Again, I'm going to put up a spoiler review later, but this is just my general vibes about how I felt about the book. I'm going to give it two thumbs up. I really loved it. I mean, it's a Stormlight Archive book, so I was going to love it. Not my favorite, not my least favorite, somewhere in the middle. Really great way to end out the 5-character arc, or the 5-book arc. I really like that part of it. I'm excited to see where it goes next and don't want to have to wait 7 years, but that's okay, because we'll get Mistborn Era 3 in there. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about the book. Just keep it spoiler-free, as this is a spoiler-free review. But let me know your thoughts. Subscribe to see future content, including that spoiler review, which will be coming up shortly in the next couple days here. And yeah, oh, God, I love the Colin family.